Hello YouTube. Well, it's Thursday again, and I didn't really get a chance to put together a video for Thursday night, but we had built a vanity during the week here, and I just want to give you a little walk around tour of it. This was all inspired from something online, sort of a rustic vanity, and so Travis had approached me and says, "Can we build this?" So we filmed the whole thing, but there was too much commotion and things going on in the shop, so most of the footage was really just kind of worthless to show you. But it's basically nothing more than two wooden side panels with everything sort of inspired off of Shaker doors. They wanted that barn door look. The inside, we used finished plywood, and then the sides were biscuited and pocket hole together. We used a concealed hinge on it. It just makes it a little bit more friendly to adjust everything once you're done with it. And he wanted saw marks in part of it and finished on the other part, so we sort of combined the both to get the best of both worlds here. And there is a few clips maybe I can throw into this video. We did run the door machine on this, and I can throw that clip in there of using the Unique 250 to make the Shaker style doors. And a little bit later on today, if it gets nice enough, maybe we'll get outside. I wanted to show you that crane I'd made for my log splitter. And I got some big monster logs to split up down there, so maybe if it stops raining here, it's just one of them days. It's a spring morning. It's fairly warm outside. Had rain all night long, and I think we're almost to the other side of this now. We're finally into spring. We're just tired of being cooped up with this COVID and everything else going on, and the cold weather just makes it worse. So we will try to get something, a little extra stuff on this video for you, but I just I wanted to show you this because I figured everybody would like to see a shop project. There's a few clips I can throw in here, so we'll be with you here in a minute. Okay, before we get started on making the doors, we're going to show you the little walkthrough of the Unique 250 door machine. I had bought this a few years back to make cabinet doors. It will cut on one machine. It'll cut your tongue or your cope. It'll cut your groove, which they call sticking, is basically your pattern. The machine has an XY access table that slides in and out. The cutter head is a set of stacked cutter heads. There's 3 cutter heads on there, and to index them, it has an air operated cylinder that runs it up and down. So in order to change where you want to make your cut, so now that it's down, you'll see that that cutter head will be doing our cope, which is our tongue. It also has a fence that comes in and out, air operated. And what this does is it indexes where the board has to be for the first cut. And then once you got it where you want it, you hit the clamps, it holds it down, and then we run the whole thing through the cutter head. We bring it back out from the cutter head, we take it up, we flip the board, and we proceed. This is something you're never going to see in a small workshop. Like I said, I used to do cabinets for a living in my past life. So we're going to go ahead and fire this thing up, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make the panel very quickly, and we'll do all the all the cuts necessary to make one panel. So we'll go ahead and fire the dust system up, and we'll be with you here in a second. Okay, we're ready to go with this, and the first step, you want to mark one face of your boards. This will be the actual front of it when it's done, so you want to keep everything in reference to that face. So we're going to go ahead and cut the copes on these. Make sure the fence is tight. You run your stops out, you touch the stop, you clamp it down, then we'll go ahead and start it up. Okay, here's our final product here. So now it's time to put these doors onto the cabinet, and we're going to be using a concealed hinge. Some people refer to it as a European hinge. I like Bloom, which is a brand of hinge. I'm fortunate to have a nice machine that drills 3 holes at once for the installation, and I'll show you how this is done. The machine's set up with stops, and when we're ready to go, it's going to clamp the door down with pneumatic clamps. It's going to drill the holes, and then you'll see here in a second. I'll show you how easy this is. And you can see we got the main hole, and we also got the 2 holes for the screws. So when this hinge goes in here, everything is aligned absolutely straight, so it sits square with the door. So we'll go ahead and drill this other one, and then we'll be ready to put this onto the cabinet. All right, we'll go back to the workbench, and we'll go ahead and install this on the cabinet. We got one hung, so we got the holes drilled, and next step is to screw the hinge into the door, and that's pretty straightforward. So I just use these little 5/8, they're like a real coarse thread screw, and you run these in, and I made up a little jig that marks the locations for these mounts inside the cabinet. So what you're going to do is measure from the bottom of the door to the center of the hinge, and that's pretty much locates these inside the cabinet. We'll do an in-depth video on this concealed hardware one day. This is just and then if everything turned out right, these clip in, and then your hinge will be adjusted with a screw, and we can bring the door in or out, and we need some more clearance on it right now, and you'll see here in a second. You just want to look at the margin, and then you want to go in or out with the plate until you get it perfect, and you want to take your time. Okay, but you get the idea here. You can get them tweaked in exact, but we'll go ahead and get these adjusted up right, and then we'll be back with you here in a minute and show you the finished product. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the little tour of the door machine there when I showed how I made that door for the little vanity in there, and then also that hinge machine. So I'm going to show you this crane. When I did the log splitter video last time, we didn't have the tongs with us. So this log here is a piece of white oak. Things got to weigh, a couple 100 pounds anyway. And you can see, you can maneuver it around like nothing. And just a little pair of tongs from up at Tractor Supply. And you can get these through Northern Equipment too, I believe. And we'll go ahead and split this thing, and I'll show you how helpful they are. Once this thing goes in half and one falls off, you can pick it up real easy. And this is a heavy piece of wood, that's for sure. And we'll let this piece just lay down. And on the bigger logs, I just try to get them quartered. And this piece of wood here will probably heat your house for a day or two. But that 6-way wedge, I wouldn't recommend trying to push this through. Nothing like stringy wood. If you had a lot of big logs like this, you could make some cordwood real quick. Nice and straight grain. If I'd have had my 6-way wedge out here, I'd have to put that on next. Could have busted these up a lot quicker. I like to leave them fairly big chunks. Otherwise they'll burn up too quick. And if the piece is too heavy to pick up, which this isn't, you could use the tongs again and a little stringy. And one more piece, we're done. Alrighty, and there you have it. Yeah, this is just a Harbor Freight cheap little truck crane, and I put electric winch on it, and It beats, I like it better than the lifts, the hydraulic lifts, because you can drag wood from a long distance to get it to the splitter. So hope everybody enjoyed this video, and we will see you at the sawmill with the Eddie Horvath this Saturday. So everybody take care until then. Bye-bye.